It's the old man again, doing part 2. Losi Promoto with M14, M33 comparison. This is the video on the track part of it. And we learned some things about stiffening the front wheel up quite a bit. And if you didn't see part 1, I did post that ahead of this, so it might be worth checking out. So let's get to that video. So here we are outside running that busted rim. You can see it really just not keeping the front down. It really had to feather on the throttle. Because the ground's not really soft enough for that super aggressive scoop. You can't get near full throttle. Unless you're launching. I'm trying to use it all. You see what it does. You just get. But that front wheel, it was more and more. If the front wheel's on the ground, it would roll over because that rim was too flexible. Somewhere here, I ended up just breaking the center out. It just wasn't going to go anymore. Couldn't control the front. One of these, you can see that little. It lifted more with the lighter front end. It's just you keep the front a lot higher. Yeah, you can see where it was much more stable landing. I mean, there was no shake at that point. Barely a lift. And I looked at that, I don't know why that did that end though. It just a little bit of lift there. I can see I hit the throttle. And that flipped all the way up there because there's a kicker. There's 2 kickers on that little jump. And then, yeah, I noticed that glue didn't stay stuck to the rim, so I kept going with it. Wasn't glued anywhere on the beam at all. The bead, it had all come loose. Barely a lift. Again, I tapped it. I could see it.
You don't even gotta use the run up.
But it just doesn't bring it much with that heavy wheel. It's kind of stayed. But it definitely helped keep, because I don't think I lifted there. Or there. And it kept it level.
Huge!
And then we had another front wheel landing. And because it's dry out, the track is the drier it is, more inconsistent. And that tire will get down into, with a hard pack and really hook up. So on the ground, even with this heavy wheel, you can get it to lift. But in the air, you can't pull the front end up. Little. You get it up a little.
You don't really need to run up with this big monster tire.
Huge.
Huge.
Not even trying, you can overjump this. And it is fast. It's really hard up on the top of that hill. Yeah, leaning to the left. A little bit of upset, but man, it plowed right through it. Did 2 taps on that, and it just barely, maybe a half inch of movement, you can see.
I mean, this thing, it's almost half speed still lifting the front. It takes it that long to really
There's
hook up.
two more taps after it left the hill.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so now we're going to the 33, and I glued the wheel on it. I put the
Amazing.
notes on, so.
No run up. Yes, a heavy wheel.
Keeps it level.
Jumps just as far as the other one.
And a two-cell cannot do that. You just don't have quite enough wheel speed to influence that heavy wheel. So I don't know about, maybe flat track and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't really bring the front
Maybe
end
some,
up here because of that heavy tire.
Maybe some oval racing in the future.
So that's what it is. When you're off the ground.
That is a monster jump.
Yeah, it doesn't want to lift the front a whole lot. I did a couple power hits right there.
Yeah, and there was one of them on the other hill I do. It was a double. You can see it hit twice, no shake.
I tapped it 3 times, and it didn't really lift even the 12. Four taps on it there. I guess we're gonna wheel spin. Let's try it. Okay, so we're back to 2-cell. Got the V2 rims, front rear, with the M33s on them. So we're gonna see how the front end, if it lifts, how that lifts, and stability landing on the front wheel. I gotta remember what you're doing, man.
Oh yeah, you can see it just kept it. And I gotta believe that if you bought a brand new stock rim, as you beat it up, the flex increases. But I watched a brand new bike, I couldn't believe how much it shook. Coming down on that front wheel. And yeah, the forks are limited on this too, which means so there's one again. I'm not sure why it didn't shake. It just, the front wheel might have stuck in a pocket, or rear end hit a rock and it kicks it really, really hard. Yep, there's the double bounce.
Wow.
And normally you see the back just try to pass the front. There's 2 of them, 2 bounces. That's unbelievable. And I'm not tapping the throttle after it jumps because I'm trying to land it on the front wheel like that. And it just bowls right through it. And that was a slow front wheel landing. It'll shake the most. Another one, why? I'm not sure why that just endoed. Forks, I did look like the forks collapsed, but they compressed. Another front one, no shake. Wasn't as hard as some of them. There you go, another endo. That could have something to do with the front wheel not spinning even. There's no brake caliper on this, so I don't have brake bind. Front brake bind is an issue too. You don't want that front brake binding up. Just for that reason, again, if you land on the front wheel, it's gonna, the front wheel stop. And then they don't turn right either. That one, it wobbled some. Not like they do with the whole front end flexing on them, man. They shake really bad. And of course, if it's on its, on that front wheel shaking, it ain't going forward. lot of nose down landings I managed. I did an endo, forward flip, whatever. If you don't land it, it's just an endo. Right in it, pile drive, right in it. Nothing, bro. Keep going. There was it. A little too early on the brake, a little too much. Too much, too soon. There's a front wheel, solid. So that's a rigid rim doing that. I don't think it's a heavy rim. Oh, these are all different landings. Another battery gone. So keep tapping the throttle, everybody.